Hi there, I'm Jamie Shibley, CEO of the Expressory. Today, I want to take some time to talk about events, the relationships that you're nurturing at events, but specifically the closing of an event, because I think a lot of us overlook a real opportunity. And this can apply, what we're going to discuss can apply if you are the event creator, if you organize the event. And I think it can even apply in some ways if you are the speaker. How do we end that event? But I also want you to think about everyday events in your business, your meetings, especially important meetings with your team. But you'll see there are other opportunities we can apply this to. Um, and my examples and part of what I'm going to share comes from the book from Bria Parker, The Art of Gathering, How We Meet and Why It Matters. I've discussed some examples from this book before, and I think the world of what she's written about here. So I'm first going to give you a story she shares, and it is not exactly event related, but I think it really drives home how we're going to think about event endings. And actually, what she says is that closing are a moment of power and memory formation. Ending well is a crucial way to cement the feelings and ideas that you want your guests to take away with them. And isn't that the truth? So often, maybe it's a heartfelt thank you and goodbye, but we're not doing much else to leave them with an emotional connection that is lasting. So the example is from a professor at the University of Virginia. And he runs one of the programs, and it's a two-year long study. And at the end, there's obviously a thesis that gets turned in. And if you've ever done any thesis work, you know you do all of this work, and at the end, you're turning this in, and you're just waiting for this grade, right? And so for this particular professor, the thought or the process was that these students would come to his office and would typically drop off this thesis at his door, and that was the end of it. So he changed this because he wanted to close things out differently, and he wanted it to be a better memory. And so for his students, when they dropped off their thesis, they were met at the door with a tray carrying shots of tequila, and they were invited to come in and celebrate together, creating emotional bonds with one another over their accomplishment, completely changing the memory of this really powerful moment, right, in their lives. So I want you to take this to events that you're speaking at or coordinating, right? And again, like I said, even with your teams, if you have powerful things that you're discussing, how is it that you're closing this event so they have something that they can grasp and let it serve as future maybe motivation or inspiration? One of the ways she invites people to think of this is, how could you use a gift um, to impermanate the moment, create it as a permanent memory? And so I say to you, what kind of gift or tactile object could they take away that would create that emotional connection based on the subject, the work that you were doing together at the event? There's a couple ways you can think of this. What was the goal of the event? Why are people attending? Or maybe why are they attending your speech? What do you want them to take away from that and work on in the future? And once you know that, is there an object or a thing that you could give them that serves as a physical reminder of that goal? Because if so, that thing is now going to sit on your desk and remind you, and remind the people, the attendees, of your event, of probably the positive feelings they had at that event, and the goals they're supposed to be working toward, or maybe they already did achieve, right? So the other way is, what did they achieve by attending your event? And how can you turn that thing into a moment that they're always looking at, an object they're always looking at? One of these you can see on my wall behind me. This could be certificates at some, maybe they attended, um, they went through some real meaningful work, and at the end, they achieved something. And perhaps it's a framed thing that symbolizes the time together. I think about teams, and particularly not too long ago with my team, I went through a lot of work to rebrand our company. And we had to roll this out to the team. And there's a lot of things that as a team we want to discuss, our vision, how we're living out our values, all these things. And as we meet and we walk away from these conversations, which, let's face it, sometimes the team, to them, it's just might be fluff. I don't know, but like, how can I leave them with something that represents this is what we are collectively working toward? And isn't it going to be exciting when we achieve this? Right. So those are the ways, or some ideas for ways that you can create permanent reminders coming out of an event, and I think are very worthwhile for those of you in attendance or coordinating events to think about. So as usual, if you'd like to continue that conversation, you're welcome to join us at any of our Q&As, or reach out. You know how to find me, and we can keep that conversation going. Thank you very much for listening.